All right, guys. So, if you've already seen, you have to have already seen the title of this video. You know why we're here. Everybody has fucking seen this episode by now, and everybody is talking about it. And up until now, I've kept my nose out of the whole Gamergate thing because I was trying to practice the whole ignore it and it'll go away. But I apparently, no matter how hard I ignore it, it's not gonna go away. So I'm here with my buddy Jim. Say hi, Jimmy.
How you doing?
And we're gonna talk about this newest episode of Law and Order, where they try really hard, and in my opinion, fail to capture the whole Gamergate deal. I mean, they never explicitly say it, but it's what they're doing. So, I don't know if you can hear my papers floating around over here, but I took 2 whole pages of notes because that's how much shit went on. So, I think we're gonna try to go over this in chronological order, kind of like as best we can. I mean, we could jump around; it's not that big a deal. But anyway, something I noticed right away: the first 5 minutes of the episode, they already try to ingrain into everybody's mind that men have violence written into their DNA. Did you catch that in the beginning?
Yeah, I seen that.
When she was talking to the psychiatrist?
Yeah, I picked that up right away.
Yeah, he's a little boy. She was talking about how her son was destroying the toys of the little girls.
Yeah, I did the same thing too, though, when I was his age.
Well, little boys do that, but the way he put it, it's like it's in his DNA to destroy things. All right, like right then and there, you knew what the episode was going for. You know what I mean? Like you go into it thinking, maybe they'll take it in a different direction. They'll try. Nope. Men are bad. Men are evil.
Hey, we are. What can I say?
We do bad things. That's
we
not
do
fair,
bad
though.
things.
Women do bad things. Women do terrible things too.
Women do terrible things, but they're slick about it. Men just don't care. We do them.
We leave it on display.
We do them for a reason, and for not reasons.
Not
no
reason
at all. For no reason at all.
All right, so right after that is when they're at a gaming convention, and Ice-T is there. I forget his character name. What's his character name?
Finn Tutuola.
What?
What, Ice-T's character? It's Finn Tutuola.
That's his name?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay, it's Finn. All right, so what they do is they try to make Finn in the whole episode the normal gamer, the guy who plays video games and doesn't want to rape and pillage, you know? Because it's like right away it's just him playing video games and he's got to explain everything. He's playing like this bootleg Call of Duty because they can't use Call of Duty in the show. So he's playing like what do they call it? They called it Kill or Be Slaughtered. That was the name of the game.
Yeah. KOBS.
Cobbs. So, and what else I found funny was that like he started losing to a little kid and he just threw his controller across the fucking table. He's like, "Fuck this."
Yeah, he gives out the impression of like a calm gamer that just doesn't like to be beat, but also at the same time keeps his cool.
Yeah, they needed to put him in because if they didn't make him that character, there would be people throwing cocktails through their office windows right now because then it would just be all male hate. But right after that is when you have your real true first glimpse into what this episode is going to be, when you have the girl who is the assistant to the woman who developed this new game coming out. She's working at the game's booth at the convention, and those 2 guys come up to her and are just like, get out of here, gamer girl. And then like 10 minutes later they're just raping her in the bathroom. They don't get to rape her because she like fights them off, but that
they show a stronger side of gamer women, not just the weak.
No, you know what? I will give her credit. They did. She fought them off, and she was like, and she wasn't even that torn up about it. She was just like, they're fucking assholes. I dealt with them. But on the flip side of that coin, they're also the first random dudes that you happen to see are just immediately taunting a woman because she's a woman who has something to do with video games.
I think they targeted her only because she's like the assistant of the head of that specific game, which they do consider something that shouldn't even become a game because it has nothing to do with killing or anything like that.
That's exactly what I was about to lead into. She once she reports this to the police and they're questioning her at the station, she mentions the fact that the game is non-violent. Therefore, all these gamers who apparently only play first-person shooters hate it and can't play it because they only want to play games that involve massive amounts of violence and gore.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not the biggest on the first-person shooter genre, but I like to play Call of Duty every now and then. That doesn't mean I can't play SimCity. I also enjoy SimCity.
I mean, I don't know if you heard this, but I think about a year ago or two, I think somebody from either Infinity Ward or Activision actually came out and said that people who only play like Call of Duty or just only play first-person shooters, they're not gamers. The term gamers has to do with players that try all different genres. They don't just stick to one.
Right. I actually do remember reading something about that.
But I feel like this episode, like, they focus more on the players that think that they're gamers, or the only ones that play the first-person shooters. They don't care.
You know what?
They don't want to see anything or hear anything or want anything to exist that has anything to do with other than first-person shooters.
You know what? I didn't look at it that way. That is a very valid way to look at it. That makes sense, actually.
I mean, I could see like Dick Wolf's like idea. Like I think he has the grasp down on their mentality, but I think the way he took it might be a little over the edge.
Yeah.
But a lot of it, in my opinion, was pretty accurate. Like the characters' opinions inside of the show, like their thoughts up until like the overboard stuff.
Okay.
Was, in my opinion, pretty.
All right.
Pretty accurate.
What appeared really heavily to me was the fact that this episode it kind of felt really rushed to me, and the reason it felt that way was there was just a couple of lines that even like Ice-T, who in real life is actually a gamer, he delivers some lines that just sound so contrived, and like and it wasn't his fault. It's you can't work with a piece of shit script sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's that part where he's talking to the female developer. Her name is her last name is Punjabi. What's her first name?
Raina Punjabi.
He's talking to Raina, and he's walking with her, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I heard about your game on Kotaku." He's like, they said Amazon Warriors is better than Civ 5 with the Brave New World expansion pack. I was like, what? First of all, nobody on a video game website would ever write that way, and nobody would ever speak that way about the article. And again, like, I'm not blaming Ice-T. It was the script he was handed. That's what he gets paid to do. Read that script. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that was just fucking. That was bad, plain and simple. And then what did I have to read through my notes here and see what I wrote down next. Oh, when they were looking on, they went and looked on they couldn't use an actual website, so they created Red Channel.
Yeah, that was pretty.
They combined 4chan and Reddit, yeah. And they were looking at posts.
A lot of creativity in their name.
Right? And they were just looking at posts from random people who are just posting, talking about, like, women in the gaming industry or whatever. And they're just like, I don't think it was Ice-T who said it, but one of the cops was just like, "Oh, this is just guys puffing out their chests, their e-chests."
Oh, no, it wasn't the cop. It was it was, I think, one of the other developers. Or
oh, was it?
I think I think he was a coordinator for the gaming event.
Okay.
It was the dude with the glasses.
Yeah. Yes, it was him. You're right. It was the dude that they deputized out of nowhere.
Yeah, they deputized him as a CI for the NYPD.
He was like, "Oh, that's all this is." So, but these are the things that I'm trying to explain are adding up to show a really bad image of what male gamers are. You know what I mean? And it just goes on and on. It gets to the point now where actually, yeah, you know what? I almost skipped over this note of mine. They show a forum post where gamers are trash talking, like all this specifically Raina Punjabi.
Yeah.
And they show that video of the guy who is supposed to be making the video to make him look like Anonymous, the hacker group Anonymous.
Yeah, I forgot what the name is. It was like
his username.
Something. His
username was
like
Anon.
half the word anonymous.
Yeah, I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. You have no idea what you're even using anymore, because Anonymous would never do anything terrorist like that.
There's a lot of creativity going on in this. Let me tell you.
They were just pulling.
They mixed up. They combined Anonymous with Lizard Squad.
That's what they did. What they were doing was, like I said, I see what they were going for. They were pulling things off the internet that sounded relevant. They were pulling all these buzzwords to make themselves relevant in the gaming industry. You know what I mean? Or to people like us who would watch it. And I guess in that sense they succeeded, because we watched it and we're talking about it on the internet right now. So I mean, it worked.
More power to them, I guess.
That in that area they succeeded.
Damn you.
And then they read the who was it? After Yeah. Oh yeah. One of my favorite parts of the whole episode, even though it was horrible, was when Punjabi gets swatted on Twitch, like in front of everybody
on a live stream.
I was like,
middle of a live stream.
First of all, that's happened like very recently, and I think it's a little too soon to be doing that, because people are still getting almost killed and dangerously hurt and going to jail for these things. Like there was just one that happened last week. He's the guy was a former Marine, and I forgot what he was playing. He was playing RuneScape, and he got swatted, and he had his little brothers and sisters in the house, and they had fucking assault rifles pointed to their heads. So I think it's a little too soon to be putting that into a television show. I mean, I think.
But I guess maybe if they are taking this scenario from real life, they probably did get some type of permission, see if it's all right.
Yeah, they probably asked around.
Either that, or they were just trying to push their boundaries and see how far they can go with it.
Yeah, and you think while you're watching this, you think they're not going to make it a dead giveaway. I mean, they already have, but that they're directly referencing the whole Gamergate thing that's been going on over the past few months on the internet, until they start having these anonymous guys, when they're posting their videos in this episode, start mentioning the word social justice warriors, not even realizing where they took that word from. Because it was supposed to be the people who used it in the whole Gamergate thing, when they were posting like on Twitter and stuff, were the equalists. We're basically trying to make peace amongst both. I'm not going into the whole thing, but the point is they utilized the word completely wrong. And you just realize how rushed and shitty the whole script was. As soon as they started spouting that word, you're like, oh god, they're doing it.
I think the thing that I feel like they rushed it in the sense of they went from within an hour's episode, what is it, like a couple days time?
Yeah,
or something?
It's like maybe a week tops.
Maybe a week tops. They went from two guys that just went up to a woman in a booth in a gaming convention to recorded rape of her in the kid's parents' bedroom.
Not even recorded rape. Twitch rape.
Live stream.
That was another thing. They live streamed the game launch. Who does that? No company anywhere does that. Ever. Oh, our game is coming out, so we're gonna do this big stage thing where you're gonna watch us count down to it. No. You see a Twitter post that says, "Hey, guess what? Our game came out 10 minutes ago. You should go buy it."
I mean, I don't know what their thought process on that. Maybe it was
they needed an excuse to have a big terrorist action take place.
Yeah.
That's why they had no choice. There was no way to get that girl actually abducted unless she had a public forum, because they were trying to reference how girls like what's her name? Hold on, I'm gonna pull up her name right now. I don't wanna misquote. Brianna Wu, the girl that was on NBC News talking about how she's received death threats. They wanted to directly correlate it to her story and the story of Anita Sarkeesian, who now both these girls refused to leave their houses or go anywhere without police escorts. And Anita Sarkeesian had scheduled lectures at colleges that she canceled because she was afraid somebody was actually going to show up and kill her. So in order to mirror those stories, they needed a reason for this girl to be in public. And they had no legitimate reason, because in reality, no fucking game developer would go out. It's only these two girls, because they're fighting a dying battle. That's why they're getting all this hate. You understand?
Yeah.
So in reality, no developer puts themselves out there in front of a million people, unless it's like E3, but not when a game launches. You know what I mean? It would never happen in this context. They needed a reason, so they created one, because that was exactly when she got kidnapped. And then later on, when they find the warehouse that they filmed the first video in, where it wasn't where they raped her, it was the one before it, where they just like punched her in the face.
Yeah.
They used the logo of the video game as their flag. So now you're conveying the message that gamers are not only violence and hate-mongering baboons, we're also mindless idiots who think fantasy blends into reality. And I did this thing in the game, and I'm going out and doing it in real life. So you're starting to see my argument here, with the argument I'm building up here.
Yeah, I can see it.
So, oh yeah, and right in that video, right after they punch her in the face, the words "level completed" appear on the video. How? What?
Yeah, I think they were trying a little bit too hard to put the whole gaming aspect into this episode.
That's what I'm saying right there. That's how you can tell.
There's just like a good amount, like just enough, and way too much. And that little things like that inside the episode, I think we're going into the way too much section of that, like crossing the line a little bit as to how much they should put into it.
Right, that's what I was saying at the beginning. Like, they tried really hard, but you could tell where they just gave up, and it's like,
yeah. Also at the going back to the beginning, after they get her in the bathroom, when what's her name? I forgot the female, the blonde female cop. I forgot her name.
I don't know her name.
Yeah, I forgot her name, but
I know
when she asked her what happened, she just touching her lip, and she's like, "Oh, they leveled up."
Yeah, that was another one. That really, really boiled my blood.
I mean, I found it. I laughed at it. I'm not gonna lie. It was pretty funny the way they tried to use that joke.
You know what? While we're talking about that scene, there was a part of that scene that made me legitimately laugh when she was saying how the guys who play FPS games won't want to play that game because it's non-violent. And then she goes on to say where she's like, "It's just the same game with new skins and a 10-year-old engine." That made me laugh. That was a legitimate gamer joke.
That was definitely a joke towards Call of Duty. That's all it is.
Oh yeah, and that was probably the only well thought out line in the whole script. There was somebody writing that script.
It was the most factual.
Yeah, exactly. There was truth behind it. Like, oh my god. After that, it was all downhill. All downhill.
Yeah.
So, all right, where are we now? I have to go back to my other page on the notes.
I mean, one thing I don't know if they meant to do this. Like, I don't know what the word is. Like when they had the big when they had her on stage and the kids were shining the laser pointers.
Yeah.
What was it? I just had it in my head. I forgot the word. I think they wanted to use the laser pointer thing as like to symbolize that something is gonna happen.
Right. That was the idea.
What do you do with laser pointers? You use them to target.
Right.
So obviously they're gonna have one person, then two, and then when they have like 10 people doing it.
Yep. And then they boot them all out.
Yep. And that was basically, I thought, was a big symbol of her being a target. You knew something was gonna happen right then and there.
Oh yeah. Like I said, they needed the public forum for a reason for that to happen. They needed the kidnapping to happen.
Yeah. So
then, right after they do they live stream her being raped. They upload another video where they put a gun to her head and they force her to make this speech about how females aren't wanted in gaming. She's like, "Oh, you bitches better get out." And I only slept with my husband. I don't really love him. I only slept with my husband to have him back my game because he was rich, or that was the general gist of the speech they made her make.
Yeah.
Which, these are the things that piss me off about this script, because that's the kind of message that it's sending to people who aren't gamers who watch this episode. I don't mind, like, I understand the show is fiction and they just wrote a story that they knew would get views because it's a hot button item right now. It's something that's going on that everybody's talking about. That it was on their news show on that very channel. You know what I mean? I get that. What I don't think even NBC or a lot of people who are talking about this realize is happening is the people who are looking in from the outside all of this happening, right? Like, they're just reading articles about girls receiving death threats just because they're girls. They don't really understand how a lot of these forums and for the most part the internet works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The internet is a hate machine. You post one thing on the internet. You could post a 5-second video of you just saying hi, and the video's over on the internet. 99% of the comments on that video will be calling you like fat, an asshole, old, stupid. You'll have it. That's the way the internet works. And my fear is that a lot of people who don't realize that are watching this and starting to get the thought in their head that people like you and me are these people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I don't like this episode. Not that it's fictional, and yeah, you can enjoy it as just a fictional story. I'm fine with that. I have no gripe that it was made. It has a right to exist, and I understand why it exists, because it made money. That's what TV does. That's why you put shows on television, to make advertising money. I get that.
Yeah. I'm actually on the Law and Order Special Victims Unit Facebook page, like the official page.
Right.
And I'm looking at all the comments.
Oh, you got anything good?
Oh, yeah. I have one right here that says, this person goes, "Once again, TV portrays gamers as bad people with no redeem quality.
Right.
Even if a lot of us don't care about the sex of developers or our fellow gamers.
Right.
Worst of all, this episode is 100% misogyny. It's 100% misogyny. You are telling the female gamers and developers that they should give up and find another place to work. #Gamergate was and still is a discussion." Wow, that's completely spelled wrong. Is a discussion about ethics in game journalism.
Right.
No gamers versus women. I'm sorry, NBC, you jumped the shark.
You jumped the shark. But see, that's another thing people don't understand about Gamergate. They thought that it was this whole crusade against women, and that's not what it was. It just so happened that it started because of a woman. You understand?
Yeah.
It was. Did you read like into the whole like how it began, Gamergate? Like, I don't know if you were there.
Nah, I just looked it up. I'll be honest. That's the first time I heard of the word
Right.
Gamergate.
I
knew the whole like girls shouldn't play video games. Like,
That's not what it was. Like, I can explain it.
The sexism.
Yeah.
I'm looking up right now.
That's what it became. That's a problem. What it was there was I'm not even gonna go into names. There was a female game developer. She was developing her own game independently. She didn't work for any big company, right?
Yeah.
The whole reason this started was because some story came out where she apparently had a relationship with a guy, albeit sexual or not. There's proof that it might have been sexual. She had a relationship with this guy who worked for a popular gaming journalism website, right?
Yeah.
Then, conveniently during this time frame, he wrote a little piece. It wasn't a whole article. It was basically a tiny little paragraph in an article, and he gave her positive feedback. And this happened several times, and it's. I don't want to go too into it because it's going to take me a very long time to explain. But the point is, people were starting to accuse her of just sleeping with guys to get her game to sell. You understand? So that's how it started. It had nothing to do with the fact that she was a woman. It could have been a guy sleeping with women who happened to maybe own gaming websites or something. You know what I mean? It just so happened that that's how it fell down. That's how the dice landed. So, and it blew up into this whole women aren't allowed to be in the gaming industry because people like Anita Sarkeesian immediately latched onto it and started uploading videos about how, yes, that's the whole reason that this girl is getting all this hate is just because she's a girl and she's making a game. She never even went into the fact that it was because of her allegedly sleeping around. You know what I mean? So that's how it became this thing.
I mean, no matter what you do in today's world, there's somebody who's always got something to say. And there's always going to be followers to it.
I agree.
Like,
I agree.
I see this as the whole Gamergate thing. I don't see this like ever going away, or if it does, it's not going to be anytime soon.
No, it's gonna be around for a while. I know that much.
Just because, as long as there's ignorance in this world, no, like, problems are not going to go away.
No. It's gonna be in everything. Gaming should be the least of our problems, I agree. But I do think it's something that needs to be discussed. Ethics and journalism in general. I mean, it brings up a really interesting point about how, you know, all of journalism is controlled by the almighty dollar. Nobody ever writes about what they want to write about anymore because they just want to get rich.
Nah, because to everybody now, everybody thinks they're in a struggle or something.
Yep.
That they need to make money.
Anyway, we got a little off track. Getting back to this episode, we need to get to the end of the fucking episode here. Where were we? Oh, they mention that Ice-T mentions that once he sees the rape on Twitch, he mentions that rape is a feature in the game. He says it's a mod. It's a community mod. So it's not like that would have been. If he didn't say that, I would have been mad. Because never in any game ever has it been a feature where has there been a feature where you can actually go and rape somebody. Never. I don't think I've even ever seen a mod to do that. I've seen mods like in Fallout that create prostitution, but it's still not rape. Like I've never ever seen rape.
I mean, you got the hot coffee mod for San Andreas, but it wasn't rape.
That wasn't rape. That was purely consensual. That was
consensual.
That was you take your girlfriend on a date, and when you get back to her, she's like, you should come inside. How is that rape?
No, I'm just saying, like, something like that.
Yeah, but
legal.
Yeah, exactly. That's another example of how the writers of the script had no idea what the fuck they were talking about. I'd be willing to bet Ice-T read that line and just went, I gotta say this on television.
He scrunched his face up and just looked at him.
He's like, oh man, I'm in trouble.
You want me to read this shit?
Just do it. You want your check? Damn it.
It's like, if they weren't fucking paying me so much money.
Yeah, right? And then he goes on to mention the fact that the next thing to happen in the game after rape is murder. So it becomes apparent that these fucking weirdo hate-mongering gamers are following a video game that they play literally scene by scene. They're playing out the way things happen in this game. So you're telling me, according to these guys who wrote this script, there's video games where you go out, you kidnap innocent women, you rape them, you get police to come and you kill the police. According to these guys, because they're writing the script, this is what they think.
I think they were. I honestly feel like they were pulling bits and pieces of, like, you can see.
I feel like they just Googled.
You can obviously see the first-person shooter aspect of it. You can see the Call of Duty aspect.
That last scene where they actually do the POV shot of the guy holding the gun, I wanted to vomit all over my computer monitor.
They had it with him, and then Ice-T had the POV of him too.
How fucking stupid! What that's another thing. You think
I
because
feel like they thought they were trying to be creative with it, but I don't know.
they were not trying to be creative.
I feel like they thought they were trying to be creative.
They were trying to drive home the point that those guys actually thought they were in a video game. And that's how other gamers in turn think.
I feel like they were trying to drive home the point of this is an episode of Law and Order.
Yeah, maybe.
That has to do purely with video games.
maybe yeah.
With mainly first-person shooter games.
So that was they arrest the guy, game over, and then at the end, the female developer, she's like, her exact line is, "Girl in the gaming industry, what did I expect?" That was the single worst line in the whole episode. You openly admit that we believe, male gamers believe that women do not belong in the gaming industry and should never, ever, ever come here, because if they do, we're going to kill and rape them. That's what you said in that last 10 seconds of that episode.
Eh.
So now that we've gone through that whole episode, I touched on it before, a few minutes ago. My problem is that, judging by the way these guys wrote the script, right? I don't know who they are. I don't know if they're old, young, black, white, female, male. I don't know who they are. I'm just going by the information given to me. But by how they wrote the script, by what I heard, they are not gamers. They have never played at least a real video game. They don't understand what the whole Gamergate thing is. They just latched onto it for views, which I guess is fine. That's a business model. That's how you do things. They latched onto it, and they actually assume that gamers are like this. And that's my problem. That's what's being spread by this happening over and over. And girls going on the news, female developers going on the news, and like girls like Anita Sarkeesian, who is vehemently against misogyny in the gaming industry, even though there really isn't any. You know what I mean?
I think it's just ignorance.
That's what I'm saying.
Whoever, like, in my opinion, I played with a lot of girls, like play Halo, all this stuff. Mm-hmm. I even have friends that play it. I have no problems playing with them. Like, if I don't want to play with you, it's just mainly because you're probably bad. I don't really care.
But that's like you don't care the type of genitalia in between the legs of the person you're playing with. No. That's my point.
No, because I've seen gamer girls. I really don't care.
That's the thing.
If you're good, you're good. Like, if you're good, I want you on my team. If you're bad, then I most likely don't want you on my team.
That's what I'm saying. And I don't give a fuck whether you're a man or a woman that developed the game. If the game is good, I'm going to play it. If it's bad, I'm going to not play it and tell everybody it's bad. I don't care if you're a man or a woman.
It just so happens that the mainstream games that I play, like Call of Duty, Halo, Grand Theft Auto,
they have bad reputations.
They all have male creators.
Yeah, that's true.
And
but another thing is, I don't think people read these credits at the end game long enough, because there are a lot of women who work on, maybe not lead developers, I'll give you that, but there are a lot of women who work on these games, be it artists, musicians, whatever they are.
Programmers, everything.
Yeah. There's plenty of women who work for gaming companies.
I mean, I'm not gonna... So basically, what they're trying to say is if a woman has any part in the game, then they shouldn't be playing it. But...
That's right.
For me, personally, I don't give a shit. I really don't.
Right. So, the problem I have here now is that when they put TV shows on, when they put shows on television like this, it projects that idea. So people who don't play games, like my elderly grandfather, he's 80 years old. He watches Law and Order. He might see that now. He's not stupid. Don't get me wrong. He knows me, but he might see that and think there are a lot of people probably out in the world like this.
I know, you know what I mean.
And there's so many other people that could see that are going to see that and that don't play games and maybe have never played a game in their life, and they're now going forward going to think that all gamers are like this. All male gamers are like this, and it's not fair that you and I need to be pushed into that category because somebody else said so. Because they keep putting on shows like this, and they keep putting people on the news in primetime slots at 8 p.m. when everybody's watching, only presenting one side of an argument. You never see our side of the argument in these shows or on the news. It's always how horribly women are being treated and how they're receiving death threats and they're not allowed to leave their house. It's never the thousands and millions of male gamers, female gamers too, that know damn well this shit doesn't happen, or at least on the scale that they're claiming it does. That's.
I think a lot of it was just for Hollywood, and they're just basically. I think to sum it up, it's Hollywood. They were nitpicking at what they thought were main gaming aspects. They got some stuff right, but in the end, they went, I think, way overboard.
Yes, they did.
With the progression of with basically the enemies in the episode. Basically, that's really what I think it is.
Yeah, that's what they did. They took it too far, but without I don't want to start rambling here because we rambled a little bit. So that was basically it. I said my piece. I'm not fucking raging mad, but I'm a little peeved at it. So you heard what I had to say. You heard what my buddy Jimmy here had to say. So if you guys got anything to say, you can leave them down in the comments below. Because I want to start a conversation here. I don't want to start a hate war. That's not what the comments is for. I just want to talk about it. If you liked the episode, that's cool. Tell me why. If you didn't, cool. Tell me why. I don't want to, it's not about hate. Let's kill hate. Let's stop doing this. All right. So I'm the Ice Lord, and I will see you guys around.